Every birth surprises me. When I think it's going to be long and it's fast, when I think it's going to be fast and it's long. I love that we don't know how or when until after the birth. It is magical, it's mysterious, it's precious. The woman is leading the birth and the breastfeeding and anything else. So we need to work around her, whether I'm a man or a woman or a doctor or a nurse or a midwife, an administrator, the woman is at the centre. Women have the power. We just need all of us and the fathers to be in touch with our intuition, with our power. I was surprised, because I'm a man, that Arabic women, Muslim women from Pakistan, 30% of my clients were from there. And I often said, is it okay that I'm a man? They even said, no male doctor to see me. Oh, but you're okay. And I would say, why am I okay? And it was always because you're kind, you're gentle. I think they like confident, calm, and kind. I always felt it's compassion more than gender that is what women want. And just too physical, when all you need is gravity, you need a calm environment for the oxytocin, you need to be in balance and at peace with yourself. I'm looking at quality over quantity, with birth, with law. Because what happens, it matters how it happens for the rest of someone's life.
Dobrý den, vítám vás na dalším dílu Hovoru z porodního gauče. Dnes je mou velkou milou povinností vám představit Paula Goldna. Hello, welcome
Hello.
In our podcast. You are an independent traveling midwife, neonatal specialist, naturopath, lecturer, legal advisor, lawyer, mediator, medical expert, and you have more than 40 years of experience. How comes you became a midwife?
Probably like my birth, accidental. That's seriously and joking that I'm born as a twin at home, not known to be twins. And I thought this was normal. So my education, my studies started to go towards law, and I did law. And then I was in the Himalaya area, and I was with refugees in Pakistan, Afghan, in the early 80s. And I thought I want to work much more closely with people than with law. I liked about rights, and that comes through later. I continued to do many legal studies and qualifications and practice, but it was being with people closely, because people treated me like family as I travel the world. And I wished to understand more about anatomy, about physiology, about the process of our health and when it breaks down. So I did all of that, worked in intensive care with adults, then children, then babies. That led me with breastfeeding, mothers asking me to help be at the birth. And I thought that's just a job for the women, so I couldn't see me doing that. And they said sometimes the women were not always kind and gentle. So by invitation, I got led into it. Probably some deeper psychological things. My own mother was stressed with 5 kids, and I wished to help mothers because I wished to help my own mother. And there'd be other factors. By starting into that journey of healthcare and then with birth, I worked in New Zealand, where 50% of the midwives, almost 50%, are independent. So we're very autonomous. The British system where I trained originally, I went back to Britain from Sri Lanka, so I lived in other countries. This was a very autonomous system. I say was because we were hospital-based, trained. Now it's university-based. And sadly, most of the graduates will leave very soon after they qualify. So to answer your question at the beginning, I said accidental. And I feel that life is kind of accidental on purpose when we listen to our intuition. I've often been in one country and feel which country to go to next. And I can make a mistake and change my plan, but mostly it's intuition. And very much at a birth, what does this baby need? What does this mother need? And so I've let the intuition guide me. I'm very fortunate to spend time in North India, where intuition is coming at you very loud and clear. And when we're in the city like London, Melbourne, Auckland, it can be more chaos than intuition. So we have to find that peace.
Mm-hmm. You were talking about intuition, which is the answer for the next
question.
Yeah. I wanted to ask how you can lead women in such a process like birthing and breastfeeding. But so I fully understand that this can really help when you're connected and empathic and etc. But how woman is accepting you as a man in this position?
It's just not an issue. The woman is leading the dance. The woman is leading the birth and the breastfeeding and anything else. So we need to work around her, whether I'm a man or a woman or a doctor or a nurse or a midwife, an administrator. The woman is at the centre. If we have person-centred in this conversation, I put you at the centre of the conversation. I put her at the centre of the care. I was surprised, because I'm a man, that Arabic women, Muslim women from Pakistan, 30% of my clients were from there. And I often said, is it okay that I'm a man? They're like...
Because there is a very restricted.
They even said, no male doctor to see me. Oh, but you're okay. And I would say, why am I okay? And it was always because you're kind, you're gentle. I think they like confident, calm, and kind in all of our practitioners. I've seen wonderful male doctors sit by the bedside, explain something. It could even be life and death situation, but they take 1 minute to explain in a crisis situation, and they're also kind. I've seen other people, whether it's a man or a woman, not acting kind, doing vaginal examinations when a woman's screaming, no, stop, you know? So gender, I always felt it's compassion more than gender that is what women want.
You were saying also that you're traveling a lot.
Yeah.
Do you see different approaches to
Yes
birthing?
and no.
Yeah.
Great question, because the body is the same physiologically everywhere. Although some people are squatting all their life to go to the toilet, they're out in the fields. So in India and large parts of the world, people squat naturally, and we're not. We're sitting on these things, and it defies gravity, and we have different responses. And we're more likely to get on a bed for the birth because it's expected, where somebody who's been squatting, using their body in the fields, will squat on the floor to give birth. So these changes are kind of cultural, but also in a complex society, there are people working with agriculture or with yoga, and they know their body. So all of us can have a more physiologically based birth.
Than the others that are maybe...
It's an option everywhere, but the social conditioning. Not long ago, men were never at a birth. A father was not allowed to be at the birth, and not allowed. And the laws had to even change. So things shift and change in one country and are slower in another country. But quite often the slow countries can catch up and even get ahead of the other, what we think is developed. We're all developing all the time.
You said at the beginning that you yourself, you are from twins.
Yes.
And that you have two twins sons.
Yes.
And identical ones.
Yes.
It's always fascinating.
The four of us are identical.
Yeah.
Even one is more like my brother and one is more like me.
Okay. So then the obvious question is that you're oriented on breech and twins birth.
It's just normal. I didn't think about it as a strange thing. And when I started practicing, breaches happened vaginally.
Why we are afraid of it?
Well, in life we have love and fear for everything. And we can allow somebody to teach us fear, and we take that fear and we stay with it. We don't even know it's there. It's like a fish cannot see water. The fear is just in our environment. So if we're told from some research that happened, a very poor piece of research, and there's better research has come out since, but everybody just remembers the Hannah trial about 20 years ago that said there's a double the chance your baby could die at a breech vaginal birth. So there's actual and real risk that we should look at. And if a number is 1 in 1,000, let's say it's even 1 in 500, and it becomes, so that's 2 in 1,000, compared to somebody else having a vaginal birth with a head down baby, 1 in 1,000. So yes, your chances have doubled, but it's so small a chance. And we should reverse things. When we've got 99% chance of having a good birth, we say that 1% could become 2% chance of a bad birth. It depends on so many individual factors. And what we don't look at with research is the individual factors. So if a mother's healthy, well, knows her body, knows her mind, knows what she wants for her birth, she's much more likely to get it. If somebody is living in fear, they go to a fear-based practice, and the medical system, doctor or midwife, whoever, will give them fear-based, will cut you open, take the baby out, and that way your baby will live. But actually, the risks, there's two big risks with caesarean and especially for breech. Caesarean itself has risks of hemorrhage and infection and basically death, but we're not looking at the long term. So that woman then has a scar on the uterus. The next egg comes down, implants into that scar sometimes. That's called placenta accreta, so the placenta can grow into the scar. It cannot be born very well, and a woman can hemorrhage massively. Plus the risk to future babies being well. We're often short term, let's just do a caesarean today and save the day, but what's the future for that woman? Also mental health, we don't even think and talk about that. And the three big reasons for death in maternal cases, you've got blood clots, we've got infection, we've got bleeding, but also mental health. And it's a taboo subject, it's almost negative to even mention, but when we push women too much, they're feeling not only depressed, it becomes suicide, even thinking about it when they should be enjoying their family, their baby. So for me, it's so important to be holistic, to be balanced, to listen to our bodies, and the woman to have the courage to be able to listen to hers without people piling on their fears, projecting their fears.
Do you also think about the quality of life of women, not only of somebody who is providing us the babies?
And what you're saying is, you just took the words out of the mouth of so many women when they speak to me. They say, it's my right, it's my body, it's my choice. Even if she's having, as one woman with me was having baby number 10, she'd had 3 caesareans, and she'd had twins where one had died at a birth, and there was a big legal cases going on. And it's my choice to have a home birth. We home educate, we home church, and we will home birth. It's my choice. And if my baby were to die, I take responsibility. But if I go to the hospital, they will promise not to do things that they will then do, traumatize me, and my baby could still die in the hospital. So I would rather take my own responsibility, being able to respond, it's a good way to look at this word, at home. That woman actually, she was kind of Amish religion, Mennonite, and didn't want to be touched, didn't really want a man, but everything worked perfectly. I stay with the family and get to know them. And this is the thing with independent caseloading. We get to know somebody, we have a cup of tea, we see them. So when she's in labour, if I see the lip colour has changed, is she bleeding? Is she well? Is she stressed? Because we have a relationship, a connection that we don't always have, we try to have in the hospital system. But in the hospital system, we can make it the best it can be by building these relationships.
We are leading now to some limits, because you were talking about intuition, you were talking about the fears that we have to let apart. But then when I'm thinking about the obstetrician, who are also having all the responsibility on them, and you as a lawyer, and then I'm going to your another expertise, which is the legal expertise. How do you handle that? How to make the mediation between where is my responsibility as a doctor, with attestation, etc., and between what is the wish of the woman?
In one word, reasonableness is the answer. Love and fear, but reasonableness. So instead of a fear-based practice of I will do what's best for my registration, for my employment, and not to go to jail, and I save the baby, so I do a caesarean, I do something to push the labour, it doesn't have to be that way. We can do much more reasonable care, which is informed consent, giving people choices, explaining there's a risk and a benefit of doing something and not doing it. Turn a paper around, say, if you're sure you accept these risks, can you sign here? And you've had this conversation. And the conversation should not be one-word answers like, do you understand? Yes or no. It should be, tell me what you understand in your own words. So that's a big shift, and we're not doing that. We're not having that conversation. And when we talk about life and death, we need that. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes. It can be 1 minute, 2, 3 minutes. But we need to explain, we need to listen, they need to make informed choices. When I taught in China and India, they said they were worried that their house would get burnt down if a baby died. People would blame them. So it's big fears they have. Again, they're working from fear instead of being reasonable. If I say to somebody, I made a mistake, I could have done something earlier or later in the care for you, I'm sorry about that, that honesty is usually enough. It's sufficient for the family. But when I'm hiding information, being defensive, not honest, then they want to get to the truth, but they also then want to fight the system. People won't want to fight it if we're honest and we're in partnership. A key word from Maori New Zealand healthcare is partnership. I'm not caring for you in a dominant colonial way. I have to check in a respectful way that it's the care you want. So the fear the staff have, I'm dealing with cases in many countries, Australia, Netherlands, America, Brazil, all across Europe. And some of the judges have got it quite wrong. They think if one doctor's told them that another doctor or midwife should have done something, that's it. We need to have very wide expert opinions. So a high quality and quantity of expert witnesses saying what is the reasonable standard of care. And to make it simple, 2 truck drivers, one can say what the reasonable standard of care for the other truck driver should or could have done something differently. That's all it is with healthcare. Could we have done anything different or better? Is it reasonable what we've done? That's all. So come back to reasonableness.
Okay. We are now observing some crisis in the midwifery worldwide.
Yeah.
What do you think is the cause of this crisis?
Lack of kindness. So retention is an issue. I was mentioning earlier that new grads in the UK, so they do 3 years studying university or 4, and 60% leave in 3 years. The rest will leave in the next couple of years or so. So it doesn't matter how many new ones we have, they will leave. Why do they leave? Because of the brutality. They are secondary victims to violence, to trauma. They're observing things being done to women that they disagree with, and they feel complicit. And they don't have a voice how to speak up. And the older ones just want to get the money, get the pension, and leave, and they're not speaking up enough. We need to have the courage to speak up. For me, it's the equivalent of rape. That it's sexual violation a lot of the time when somebody's having an examination screaming, no, stop, or they're trying to pull a baby out, doing the fundal pressure too much, and just too physical, when all you need is gravity, you need a calm environment for the oxytocin, you need to be in balance and at peace with yourself. We're going like this, I'm going to treat you like this, you're going to become like this.
If you are in front of the doctors and giving some workshops, trainings, what is the first recommendation that you will give them in order to make this nuance to be understood?
Well, it's a blend. Natural therapies, all sorts, living in mountains, breathe. So connect to our breath, be relaxed. I need to do it. I cannot make somebody else do it. So as I become calm, relaxed, connected, I have some concern about this woman might bleed. Should we talk about this? Should we share? Should we be prepared for every possible problem? Okay, now we're prepared, we can relax. How are you? What's coming up for you? So as a colleague, we support each other. You're doing something I disagree with, but I support the person. That's really important. You don't become my enemy and I want to attack you. It's more like, why are you doing that? So I have 2 questions always. What do you want and why? To my colleagues. They're saying, let's go to theatre, do a cesarean. Let's get the syntocin up. So what do you want and why? I want to get the baby out. Could she go for a walk and come back later? Actually, we're busy. Yes, better she goes for a walk. If he didn't advocate, he didn't say something, that woman didn't get the chance to go for a walk with her husband, have a kiss and a cuddle, relax, and then the labour comes. So many of them have gone for a walk and the baby's coming. But we are pushing because we're on the clock and we have fear. So I need to change me rather than change anyone else.
To create the intimacy, the space for where...
And calm leadership. Anybody that's got puppies or dogs, you know, you have to be a calm, assertive leader and parent with children. In the birth world, if I walk into a hospital room and act calm, people will become calm around me. Occasionally somebody's provoked and they come up and challenge and I'm like, it's okay. And then it becomes okay.
So do you believe that this is something that can be implemented into the hospitals? Because I know that in UK you have some different types of birth centers.
Yes.
And this is something that we don't have here in Czech Republic, and we are just looking for these examples like something we are leading to.
We could humanize birth. This is a phrase they're using in Brazil, very much humanizing birth, by making the hospitals have a couple of rooms with this fantastic stuff. As soon as you do that, the philosophy changes, the people's clothing might change, and how they're thinking and speaking to the patient might become the woman and asking what she would like, or not even asking, just giving her space. And then she stops expecting us to tell her what to do, and she will tell herself what to do.
And what she needs.
Her body will tell her. It will guide her. It's always done. And the baby, in relationship with the mother, when the mother moves, the baby moves. When the baby moves, the mother can move. When she's tied down on a bed with her legs up, it's not so easy to move.
Sure. So when we are like comparing different cultures and different countries, how they are organized, for example, in Czech Republic, you don't have this very customer-oriented care.
Yeah.
It's still in the move to go into this model, but it's still not the case in most of the time. We are much more in the authority of the white tunic of the doctor, but you are traveling a lot, so you maybe have seen that also in other countries, and you have seen also the contrary. How comes that there are so many differences in how do we approach the patient?
It comes from fear, is the way I see it. That somebody read some books, lots of books, did lots of study. They know all of this. The woman hasn't read this. She knows this much. She maybe read one book. I will tell her. It's my job, my responsibility. So I'm doing my job telling her what is best for her. That's a big cultural shift. But fundamentally, how would we like to be treated? How would we like our daughters to be treated? When we stop and think, how are the next generation going to birth if we don't give more kindness? Simple as that. So we could just soften saying, well, all the things I've read and taught in this hospital tell us that we should be doing this medical thing to you, but it's your choice. There's a risk of doing it and not doing it, and there's a benefit of doing it, a benefit of not doing it. What do you think? Now, if a woman doesn't take any responsibility for herself, she just says, I'd take whatever you offer me, just do it. If a woman is increasing her partnership with herself and with you and the providers, she will go, I have a choice. I can think about this. I talk to my husband. But she'll also talk to herself, her intuition, and feel, what is it her body telling her? It might be, I have women call me from the bathroom in a hospital saying, they're trying to do this to me. Can I leave and go to another place? So there are choices. If not home birth, there's another birth centre, another hospital, another provider. We don't have to put up with something that's not right. We can also negotiate. But when a woman is in her primal mind, she wants to be birthing, she should be left in a safe space. Maybe her partner, her mother, her friend,
can
her
advocate
doula,
for her.
Can advocate, exactly. So we've got negotiating, advocating, and mediating. But it's all communication. Sometimes communication is, and it's, I didn't get consent, I cannot do something to her.
With all these years of experience, is there something still these days that is surprising you?
Every birth surprises me. When I think it's going to be long and it's fast, when I think it's going to be fast and it's long. So when I have one, I think it's going to be, the baby is in a position back to back. We did some rebozo, some spinning babies or alternative positions. And this particular mother I'm thinking of, she went out milking the goats and she came in and said, oh, the baby's coming. She's just begun the labour. 3 hours later, the baby's in her arms. Another one, it can be 3 or 4 days or longer. So I love that we don't know how or when until after the birth. It is magical, it's mysterious, it's precious, and it's not a mechanical pathology thing. It's because of the microbiome, the relationship and connection a baby has with themselves, with their mother, Mother Earth through their mother, and the whole of society and the whole of their life comes from that. When it's cut out, okay, let's make it the best it can be after a cesarean. We want as much contact, as much microbiome, but as much connection. I studied psychology with Gabor Mate, and he's very much about the problems in society come from disconnection. The problems with ourselves, with addictive behaviours, come from disconnection. Why is there disconnection? Often the baby is taken away to be weighed. They're not going to weigh much different if we could keep the baby a few hours, maybe weigh them the next day.
Mm-hmm. What would you recommend for the mothers-to-be that are looking on this podcast? What would you say, like a first recommendation?
I say to do the work. So we have to all do the work in our own lives. I've never been a mother. I've never gone through what you're going through as a pregnancy and birth. But we all can walk and talk. That is all the work is. When people walk every day and use their body, it's in balance. If we are sitting down in the car, on the couch with the movies, we're not using the body and start eating too much comfort food and addictive foods and drink. We just need to walk and talk. We can talk to the sky, we can talk to a tree, we can talk to a friend, and the friend talks to us. And this is a process of finding out, what do I want? Because I could test myself saying, well, I think I want this kind of birth. As I say it, maybe not. And if I don't do that work, I haven't gone through that process. I'm much more likely to hand over responsibility to somebody in a uniform. But I could take my own responsibility for my life because I live with the consequences of how we have our children. My twin boys were born 3 months early by emergency cesarean. That's very necessary. And I'm so grateful for the doctors saving the lives of my children. And then my daughter is born as a primal birth. The mother's like, no words. She'd do what she likes herself quietly in the cave. Women have the power. We just need all of us and the fathers to be in touch with our intuition, with our power.
Mm-hmm. And the same recommendation, what would it be for the midwives that are in studies now and are going to the system quite early? And all what you said sounds quite horrifying. So
it is horrifying.
How would
the world
you
is.
Encourage them to.
Well, we're not in a war zone, so it could be worse. We could have horrible situations. The kindness that I'm saying is not happening between the university and the hospital and the midwife and she leaves. Actually, we need just to be kind to ourselves. Instead of complaining that they did this or didn't do something, what did I do for myself? Did I eat and sleep and take care of my needs? Can I be more gentle to myself in my thought processes? Mm-hmm. Again, I need to go on my journey. It's a constant journey. I'm quite old and I'm still on that journey. So in my 20s, I went to Himalaya and I thought I learned a lot of good things with Tibetan people. And I feel like I'm still at the beginning. I'm still learning every day something new, how to be kind to ourselves.
You have written lots of books as well. What is the one that you would just pick now today to recommend for our audition?
It's controversial. There's a book of a nurse who's been put in jail, wrongful conviction for killing babies that were not killed by anybody, and she didn't do anything wrong. It's in the UK. Her name is Lucy Letby. That book is potentially about any of us. Somebody could point the finger and say, you did something or you didn't do something and we're blaming you. And all the stuff builds up and you get blamed. So that, for me, is powerful about standing up for our rights, working together. She has no voice, so we are the voice for her, all the people. It was 90% against her 1 year ago. Now it's 90% for her. Mm-hmm. I don't think my book changed everyone, but many people have got on the same wavelength of thinking. The book I'm wishing to finish is How to Get the Birth You Want. Mm-hmm. It's also How to Get the Life You Want.
Nice concept.
To take care of ourselves. So I'm more likely to care for you if I've taken care of me. If I haven't eaten and drunk and I come to work in a bad mood, it's like, here, have this injection. And make my life easy. So self-care.
So you were talking about this case that is quite explanatory. Then you are also making mediations. And how do you handle that? All you know about law and all this legal stuff, and on the other hand, you are very connected to the intuition. How do you can that you're not? Because to be a lawyer for me means that you must be very rigorous, which I suppose that the midwife as well. Yeah. But there is a kind of a difference. One is more rational and the other is more on the intuition. And how do you, for you personally, how do you handle that balance?
I mean, maybe we're always balancing the arts and the science, the rational, the irrational, the intuition. Like science, I saw Jane Goodall just talking, the lovely woman that worked with primates, saying she's a scientist, but her belief system and her irrationality is stronger and greater than her science belief. So we're capable of contradictions, the human being. We're very good at contradictions. With the law and medicine, it can appear very rational, but human beings, even a judge who's trying a case, is working from emotions. So if we can make a connection with a judge, even with the opposition. So I've gone into fight cases with government lawyers that are paid a lot of money, and I say, more tea, how's your family? And we're going to fight in a minute, but before we fight, let's make a connection.
So you're more using these mediation techniques
than
when you're in the cases?
I see some tough lawyers doing mediation, but they're doing them as tough lawyers, saying you must agree within 3 hours or it's finished. And I'm like, take as long as you like. If we have to come back tomorrow, that's okay. Be safe, feel okay, tell me what you need. And I'm looking at quality over quantity with birth, with law. Because what happens, it matters how it happens for the rest of someone's life.
So what is the case for you that you are always remembering, like the one that was the most maybe difficult or memorable, or maybe made a change in the way how the society then was?
A birth or a legal case?
Legal case.
Legal case, I'd say the Hungary one. Ternavosky versus Hungary. Anna Ternavosky, 10 years or so ago, 15 years ago. That just said women have, very simply, they always had this right to choose how and where to birth. It also implies with whom. And if there aren't no facilities for home birth, she can get up from one hospital, go to another one. As soon as we recognise our consumer power, the hospitals will compete. And when one hospital is doing vaginal breech birth, as happened in Budapest, I was teaching those doctors. They're now teaching me and others. They've been doing this a few years. Other hospitals compete and will offer vaginal breech birth, for example, and will go on training. And then another one competes. Otherwise, they're losing the customers. So we have power. We have the consumer power. So
we are also touching the universal human rights in all these topics that you are mentioning. Is there maybe something that would help you in your work? And now I'm talking about the lawyer, legal part, that would help you in order to be the work easier?
One word is action. Lots of people talk about human rights, and I write to the International Criminal Court. I refer judges that have done bad decisions, their individual name. Organisations, we can refer to the European Court, and the action is not enough. By the courts, by organisations, even voluntary groups who say, oh, we're good about women's rights. But we just need to fill in two types of statement. Statement from the mother saying what was done that was bad and wrong, if she wants to fix it and change it, so her daughter doesn't have the same. And statement from the staff saying, I'm working in a system where we're traumatising women, it could be avoided. I now write a factual statement, a legal statement, let's go to court. And on the way to the court, the other side will say, let's have a conversation. They might not talk to you for years. Suddenly you're going to court, they want to mediate. So the threat of litigation gets mediation.
I love that. This is very, very powerful.
You have to get close to the court. Sometimes right on the day it's happening, okay, we'll settle.
In order to have the action happening.
It's about money, it's about change. So our daughters, our children, our grandchildren, I think 7 generations, how will they be giving birth? Will it be 100% caesarean, or will they have bodily autonomy?
So the threat of litigation leads to mediation.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time and welcome in Prague, and enjoy here.
It's wonderful to be here. Very vibrant city with amazing people. Thank you.
Thank you.